We're going to tie an aggravator, actually a hinged or articulated aggravator. What we're starting with is a Daiichi 1110 hook, size 16 here, and then also Uni 17-aught thread in white. Put the thread down, Marabou attached to the back end of the bend of the hook. Bring the thread up to the front and trim the Marabou behind the eye of the hook. Not being particular or anything here, just trimming off. Now just bind the rest of the fibers down to the back hook and work your thread back to the bend of the hook. I'm going to tie a piece of number 16 Flashabou, comes off of a spool, right into that tie-in point. I'm going to create a loop out of this thread and using Hare's here. Dubbing. And create a loop. This is actually the Hare's mask in olive. I like the real spikiness of this dubbing. You can see it, even though it been in the olive dub, it still keeps the highlights off the guard hairs. It's got a lot of guard hairs in this baby. I'm just using Pettigene's dubbing tool and just twist it with a 17-aught thread. I like the 17-aught, no build-up at all, and you can still split it, as you'll see when I do the thorax on this fly. I'm just spinning creating that dubbing loop. I actually take a brush and brush it out, so it just maxes out the dubbing, the bushiness of it. Start at the very back, wind up to the front, and just overlapping. This abdomen section really wiggles really well when it's articulated like this. I think that's what's driving the fish crazy. I'm going to take the tying off my dubbing brush. I'm going to take that Flashabou and just wrap it up to the front. I was looking for about 4 or 5 wraps. Now you can see I trapped down some of those hairs. I'll go back in. I'll touch up my thread, tie off, cut off, trim my Flashabou with my nippers, whip finish it, marker up that just a little bit of thread there that shows up at the end, and then brush out with a dubbing brush. You get a pair of those nippers, get a chance to buy a pair of those nippers. They're convex nippers, and I got them because they were being used for wrappings on bamboo rods. So you take it and brush it out. I like that Daiichi because of the big eye on it. Really helps the movement of the abdomen section. And that's just that's the back end. Now I'm going to take a 2457 in a size 16 with a 2.4 gold bead. tie in my thread right behind the eye and move back about an eye's width and tie in some 30-pound mono that's been melted. I've actually crimped it in the middle to make it flat. That's my tie-in point, and then I just brushed it through a flame to create the eyes. So this is just 30-pound mono. Now I take my bead and I lift up the bead with the thread. I'm crimping. This is 3x fluorocarbon, and I'm crimping it at one end, and I'm going to stick it just barely underneath the bead, and see those two flat sections that have been crimped? I'm going to match those up and create my loop. And they match up better as flat rather than round to round. It's flat to flat. And that's where I get my good solid hinge. Now I'm going to attach my string on my abdomen, pull my mono up over the top of the front bead, underneath the eye of the hook, and back over the top again. See? One wrap. I pull on the abdomen to match the flat spots together. I wrap it down. Just an adjustment. Get that. See, I get that nice flat section to flat section, but I get the nice loop in the back. Take my mono, pull it up over the top, excuse my fluorocarbon, and then wrap it down again. And trim. I'm going to take a piece of, I'm going to whip finish this first. Then I'm going to take a piece of, about 1/8 of an inch or a little bit wider of Medallion Sheeting. And it's going to be my wing case. I'm just coloring the eyes, black Sharpie, use a bit of UV nonsense. This is a laser that I got from Deer Creek. This thing is incredible. There's my Medallion Sheeting. This is actually olive brown. This is the old stuff. It's not like the new stuff that hairlines come out with. Now I've got some Silli Legs from Montana Fly in a pumpkin. I'm going to tie those in. And I'm going to pull them down to the sides of the fly itself and not on top, not leave it on top. So there's 2 wraps and pull off to the side. Now I'm going to take some more of that Hare's Ears mask in olive and split my thread and create a dubbing brush. See, nothing to it. So I use a lot more dubbing for something like this than if I were creating the body on a fly, on a dry fly. This I want as bulky as all get out, and I want those fibers sticking out all over the place. Pull it back right in front of the bead. I like it because it pushes the legs back a bit. Take my Medallion Sheeting, pull it over the top, and that's why I leave that eye, length of an eye behind the eye of the hook before I put the mono eyes on. trim off my medallion sheeting. You'll see me do my whip finishes. I don't use head cement because I'm going to actually put a little bit of coating of UV nonsense. I will take a marker though and color that thread. A little dab of UV nonsense. Hit it with the light. And good to go.